Hacho. Live from New York, it's the show that is starting. Zach Wilson, whether he likes it or not, it's first things first. Today, Nick, did the Suns get robbed?
Absolutely not. A great job by Kevin Durant. Booker, didn't fully flame the refs the way Vogel did, but KD got it exactly right. All right, so a few things. First of all, if you look at it from every angle, when LeBron first motions for the timeout, Reeves has the ball pinned against his leg. Now, the ref doesn't grant it there, but that's first of all. Second of all, the Suns never get the ball. And the person who was most likely to get the ball, if LeBron wasn't calling a timeout, was LeBron, as it rolls right over to him, and it's going to be either a foot race or a shoving match between he and Grayson Allen. I like LeBron's chances unless tripping comes into play. And third of all, and this is, I think, what Kevin, because LeBron never moves towards the ball because he is motioning to the ref. Now, I do think the ref wasn't going to grant it, and LeBron never moved towards the ball and was like, you better give me this damn timeout. And the ref's like, okay, I'll give you the timeout. So I do think Lakers probably got a little lucky because they didn't immediately get it. But to amplify Durant's point, Brew, come out ready to play. The Lakers are the worst first-quarter team in the league of any of the teams that are actually winning games this year.
Lately, they've been better.
They've been better lately. The Suns were down 10 after the first quarter because they committed 10 first-quarter turnovers. That's how you lose the game. So, yeah, maybe the Lakers got a little lucky at the end, but as Durant said, it's a 48-minute game, and Durant had a shot to tie the game, and Durant's a great player playing great, missed it by 5 feet. And so, yeah, I do not think Phoenix got robbed at all, Brew.
Yeah, I don't think they got robbed. That last play is tough. LeBron was kind of like pointing to the ref when the ball was kind of still with Austin Reeves. I think by the time I saw him doing this, the ball was gone. And so, like you said, it's very hard to tell. It's very, close. But at the end of the day, Durant was right. Like, it's a 48-minute game. They trailed by 10 after the first quarter, as you said, by 8 at halftime, by 1 going into the fourth, and were outscored by 2 points in the fourth quarter. They had 22 turnovers total. All right. And then they only led for 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. So Lakers outplayed them for the most part the entire game. So it was a tough way to end it, but no, they didn't get robbed.
Can I pitch you something before we talk about LeBron?
Sure.
Stupid rule.
What's the rule?
Being able to call a timeout when the ball is in question, when things are happening, I don't like it.
I thought it was a very heads-up play by LeBron.
Well, yes, but I'm saying if to blame the ref can't make that call. He's being blocked. It's a big scrum. He doesn't know exactly whether it's pinned on his leg. In no other sport, when the play is actually happening, can you just call timeout? Or your teammate just call timeout. So you're about to get sacked by Micah Parsons, the offensive lineman. Timeout! Timeout!
Yeah, but
in baseball. Timeout, he's going to miss the ball.
Wait a second.
Timeout.
Wait, but that's
a bad rule.
Hold on. So you're saying, wait.
It's a bad rule.
You tweeted something along the lines of no under duress timeouts.
That's different.
That's different.
That's what I'm saying.
But what you
then
just described.
What's under duress.
Right. And what you just described is.
If I'm being trapped, but I'm not about to lose the ball.
Right.
You can't call.
That under duress? I can't call it.
You are under duress. If you're starting to freak out, you cannot call timeout.
If I'm going to the basket and I see, he's going to block the shot, can I? Timeout? Am I under duress?
Yes.
He's saying.
So you
cannot call timeout. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Also, also, your whole. In any other sport, you can't do it.
Yeah.
But that is the case for every live ball timeout in the NBA. Like mid-possession, we're not getting the shot, we won't call timeout. That can't happen in football or baseball either.
That's what I'm saying.
So you want to eliminate all live ball timeouts?
It can be a live ball if you're just casually bringing up the ball up the court.
Yeah. But that can't.
Timeout.
Okay. You know what? I got to tell you something.
But you're not under duress.
Should have workshopped the full thoughts on this timeout.
It's interesting.
Should have workshopped it better.
I am workshopping it right now.
Right, that's what
I'm kicking it around.
Look, it's got a little something to it.
There you go. That's all I'm looking for. A little bit of something. When the rules change, like, you know what? Wildes is right. Tom Brady's already given him a loss, first of all. Second of all, let's play a little defense in the All-Star game if that's the case. Lakers rolling in this tourney, 5-0, fifth best offensive rating, and the best defense, so it seems like LeBron wants to win it. Brew, what would an in-season tournament win, if he wins the whole thing, mean for LeBron's legacy?
Well, whenever you talk LeBron's legacy, the first thing people think about is GOAT,
Nice.
MJ.
Yeah.
Okay? In that regard, obviously, it can't mean much with Jordan never getting an opportunity in in-season tournaments. But I do think, Nick, like this will be, if they win it, another notch on LeBron's belt. And I think LeBron is I think he understands I'm not likely to even equal Jordan in rings. So let me build my case. Because I really think he's trying to build his case as much as he can.
100%.
Right? Like all the assault on the record books, the longevity. And now, right now, the in-season tournament is getting momentum.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like Kevin Durant was talking after the game about how all day it felt like a playoff game. Like I got family, friends texting me, calling me. It felt like a playoff game. And while it's not quite there yet, I don't know what it'll be, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. There will come a point where it's significant.
Correct.
Like, so let's say, hypothetically, that Wembanyama and Chet, it develops into this great rivalry. There will be a time when the arguments, so-and-so's got 3 rings, blah, 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 his numbers, and 5 in-season tournaments.
Yeah.
So he's only got 2. Like, it will become an argument. And for LeBron, for those that want to cape for LeBron, to be able to say he won the first in-season tournament at 38, 39 years old.
As
in his
the oldest guy in the
21st year.
league. And
yeah, that'll be something he can add to.
Right, and there's going to be a tournament MVP, you know what I mean, awarded. There's going to be an all-tournament team. So I think he also has added to his legacy as Wildes puts him, like the NBA's best statesman. By his vocal and obvious support of it.
100%.
Steph, LeBron, and Durant, the 3 still biggest stars in the league. Obviously, Jokic and Giannis have surpassed them as players. They are the faces of the league still. All of them did their part in making this feel big, making sure their teammates made it felt big, and to the public promoted it. So in that regard, and then LeBron also delivering on the court is obviously a huge part of it. And there are certain awards that we look back on and we're like, oh, you know, the finals MVP, Russell doesn't have any, but we're like, oh, but that's because he wasn't playing when it was being awarded. But the guys who have like Jerry West finals MVP, had a bunch of finals appearances before it was being awarded, and then near the tail end, he won, and it's like, oh, it's a nice little crossover era reference point. If this continues with positive momentum, I think that this, of course, will matter. It will be a line in the resume for sure.
100%.
But here is, to me, Brew, and I already kind of, I said this to Wildes for the show, but you haven't heard me say it, so I just want your instant reaction. Here's why, to me, last night was so interesting. Because it was playoff adjacent, it felt to me like this is the first time we have seen a fully healthy LeBron in a playoff atmosphere since the finals. Because the year after the finals, remember, he was coming off the ankle and he was hobbled throughout it. Last year, I know he played huge minutes in the final game, but he only scored 30 points twice that whole run, and it looked like he only could pick his spots dealing with the foot issue. And it was, to me, another reminder that even at his age, if you were to put the entire player landscape in front of me and say the series is tied 2-2, we have a game on Monday, Thursday, and Sunday to decide a series, the whole league's fully healthy. Obviously, Nikola Jokic would be everyone's #1 pick. After him, there is an argument to be had for Giannis, for Luka, for Steph, for LeBron James. He is still in the argument for, if you could have anyone, I guarantee you they're healthy, I need them at their peak for a week, that what they could do, and that's remarkable to me. Absolutely remarkable.
Are you taking him at 2? Are you taking him at 2? Give Joker 1.
Joker's
definitely won.
The problem with Giannis is just the lack of shooting ability.
I agree.
Luka, is going to get
smaller?
Is Luka going to get exploited? I love Luka, and he's been great in the playoffs.
Defense, and LeBron's not great defensively anymore.
But people aren't picking on him.
I might go Luka over LeBron.
But the fact that he's in the discussion is remarkable. And that last night, to me, Wildes, was verification of that in a playoff-ish atmosphere.
I'll buy that. All right, turning to football. Eagles.
I would argue Philadelphia for the very specific reason of Philly's brand this year is that they win. The defense, not great. Look at all the contenders. The Philly defense is the kind of sore thumb that sticks out. They don't blow people out. You know what I mean? They're all close games. But the reason, in addition to the success of last year, that they have been held in special esteem is find ways to win. You know what I mean? They are. Yep. If all of a sudden they have the same win-loss record as the Detroit Lions, if all of a sudden they are underdogs at home and lose, and then they go to a divisional rival and lose, then I think that mystique is gone for at least a bit. And the question is, wait, so why is Philly great? Their quarterback's banged up. Their defense isn't great. They don't have these wins that were like, wow, they were unbelievable in that game. Mm-hmm. And so, listen, they do have great wins, like who they've beaten. They've beaten Kansas City. They've beaten Dallas already. But I think Philly, if your whole thing is we're going to win ugly, you got to actually still be winning and not all of a sudden be one of a half dozen 3-loss teams, which is what they would become.
That's a nice try. It's clearly Dallas. Now, there are reasons that Philadelphia needs this win. They still will be ahead, in the race for the division championship, but not in the number one seed. Like if because they
won't be the number one
with San Francisco, and San Francisco will become the number one seed by virtue of head-to-head. But they're not the only ones with the brand, as you said. The Cowboys have a brand, and this is it. This is it. The tomato cans, all right?
Their last win wasn't the tomato cans.
But their brand is this.
You
beat up the chumps.
I am?
That's why I didn't put it on the table, because it's still your face. But they beat up the chumps, but every time they faced a good team, one, they were clobbered by the 49ers. Yeah. They lost to the Eagles, and then they beat Seattle, but it was a struggle.
Sure.
So it's like, okay,
Seattle
how are they going to play?
They weren't a tomato
no, that's what I'm saying. They're a good team, and they struggled against. They beat them, but they struggled. So and look, the Cowboys hear the chatter. We know Micah hears the chatter. All right, we know Jerry and McCarthy. What did Mike McCarthy say after the Seattle game? We needed that. We needed to show we could win a close game because he heard the chatter. Oh, just beat up the poor teams and let's see what win a close game. He heard the chatter, and they hear the chatter that you can't beat a great team. All right, so if they lose this game at home where they've been dominant, Nick, 14 straight wins at home, and then they lose to Philly, then I think psychologically, that's a tough hurdle to clear for the Cowboys later on down the road.
Okay, so a couple things. One is I anticipate that if they beat Philly, people will start picking Philly apart. And there will be a lot of, look at team's record the week after they play San Francisco. Philly at the very end of this stretch. There will be a way, like has already happened with Seattle, which going into the Cowboys game was like, hey, they're above 500, they're a playoff team. And now, okay, they're not a tomato can, but they're no great team. The same, and we don't, by the way, we don't do that retroactively. We don't do the reverse, where when the Cowboys whoop the Rams, and now all of a sudden we're like, well, the Rams are actually probably going to make the playoffs. They don't get retroactive credit. We only do it in one direction.
Still, what are they? 6-6.
They're 6-6. Yeah,
but we can't. Now we're praising.
We're not like, wow. Turns out the Broncos' defense is really good.
Right. Look at Miami. 70.
No. At that point, they were bad.
Right, but what I'm saying is Seattle, and I can already see it coming, when Dallas beat Seattle, they were a team with a winning record in the playoff picture. But Seattle lost to Dallas, is going to lose their next 2 weeks, and all of a sudden, when we do Dallas's resume, we're going to treat Seattle like they're a 6-9 team.
No, but I mentioned the 3 good teams they played and included Seattle. I just said it was a close game.
Yes, Dallas.
They're not tomato cans.
Dallas's offense certainly didn't struggle with that. For Philadelphia, though, what would a loss mean? Like, it is, hold on.
Go.
You don't think, Brew, you kind of, I don't want to say poo-pooed it, but I don't know if you gave it the emphasis I think it deserves. Seeding the 1 seed to San Francisco, the die to me is somewhat cast for Dallas not being able to catch Philly in the division, because even with winning this game, Philly would have to lose a bad one. They have Seattle, the Giants, Arizona, and the Giants. Like Dallas would have to run the table, and Philly would have to lose one of those other games. And so, but if you're Philadelphia, I do think a huge part of the reason you think that if you get another crack at San Francisco, maybe it goes different, is that it's in your building. I understand the first one was in their building, but they certainly don't want to play it on San Francisco's terms in San Francisco. Yeah. And losing that game when Philadelphia, internally seem to be sounding the alarm during the winning streak. We're not playing that well. We need to be better. And if all of a sudden they're still not playing that well and they lose, that to me is pretty damn damaging.
Look, I do think it would hurt Philly if they lose. I just think it would hurt Dallas a lot more. And McCarthy talked about the test of winning a close game. I think also the test of what do we do down the stretch of a close game? Because we talked about it before. Even Seattle, they made mistakes at the end when they threw the ball in the end zone on 3rd and 3, and you should have run the ball, right? And so, of course, the last couple games against San Francisco. And Philly this year with the delay of game and, you know, the not clocking the ball and the false start as they were about to score the go-ahead touchdown. So I think that's something, too. This should be a close game. How does Dallas respond in the final minute or two? Because we know how Philly will respond.
The two narratives coming out after the 49ers' victory over the Philadelphia Eagles were, one, Eagles were tired, right? Oh, they had more rest. 49ers had more rest. So, one, Eagles were tired, 49ers were rested. Two, 49ers wanted it more. They felt like there was bad luck that delivered the win. It's going to happen again. The Cowboys need to win this game because they have the same motivation. They played on Thursday. They have more rest than the Eagles. It's in their building, which is even extra. And we heard not as much as the 49ers, but it was a lot of like, hey, you know, Dak steps out of bounds. Dak played better. We played better and lost. Like, if they don't win this game and they have got the same narrative that the 49ers have, the Eagles like, you guys can't beat us.
You got
extra rest.
This crushes Dallas mentally.
Again, in the esoteric factors, you might be correct. In the very tangible factors, Brew, if Dallas wins or loses, they are likely the 5 seed either way. With a loss, they definitely are. With a win, they almost assuredly still are. If Philly wins, they are likely the 1 seed. If they lose, they are likely the 2 seed. That is a huge difference. And there was a third narrative coming out of the game. The league's 14th best quarterback is actually league MVP. That was a big narrative. We've talked about it a lot this week. That was the other. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.